If things continue in the direction they're headed, this won't be just about food storage, it'll be about survival. We're taking stock and stocking up. Are you ready for what may lie ahead? Hey guys, it's Jara with Wicked Prepared. Welcome to the channel. If your eyes are open, you know big things are happening. It's tumultuous, uncertain times like these that really remind us why we prepare. We're so grateful for the pantry and supplies that we've built, but even with a solid foundation, it's important to pause, reassess, and look for the gaps. Whether that means bulking up, rotating the stock we have, or replacing what we've used. We work pretty closely with several companies in the emergency preparedness space, long-term food storage, gear, you name it. So we often get early insight into what's happening behind the scenes. And I'll tell you, people are stepping it up. Demand is rising. Inventories are tightening and raw materials are getting harder to source. We're seeing signs on the supply side that tell us it's time to pay attention. So in today's video, I'm showing you exactly what I'm adding to my prepper pantry right now. I probably have some items you've never seen or maybe never even thought of, but I'll tell you my thought process for everything I bought. Whether you're brand new to prepping or you've been building your pantry for years, I think you'll find something in this video that'll spark an idea or help you level up your own preparedness. I've got a mix of shelf-stable staples, some unique items you might not expect, and even one thing towards the end of the haul that I buy just to throw away. All right, let's dive into this video. I'm going to start right over here, and the first thing I've got is this vacuum sealer kit, which is a manual vacuum sealer kit, so it doesn't require any electricity, batteries, or charging. So this is really important for grid down emergencies. I have my food saver with my attachments. I have a rechargeable little vacuum sealer that goes on jars, but this is going to be important for those times when you're not able to charge or you don't have electricity. So vacuum sealing is a really good way to be able to store some dry goods in mason jars and to take out some of that extra air and create a tight, airtight seal. Some people use vacuum sealing for their freeze-dried meals in a jar. I tend to use oxygen absorbers, but if you think about it, oxygen absorbers will get used up. You have to store them and they're only one-time use, so you could run out of them. And they also have a cost. So this you pay once and you can use it basically forever. Remember, I will have links for everything I show in the video down below the video for anybody who wants to check them out. The next thing I've got here is just a little phone charger. I have a charger of this brand that works really well. It's not this exact type, but it works really well. So I think that this one will as well. This is retractable. So the cable is all wound up inside of here. You can pull it out to different lengths. Now, what I like about this one is it has the USB regular little port here, but if you pull this off, it also has the USB-C down below. So depending on what you have both things you would need. And then on this end, it's kind of the same. It has the iPhone type of charger, the lightning charger, and then if you pull that off, you have the USB-C underneath. So no matter what you need, you're probably going to have it with this charger. The ones that I have of this brand that are just like this, but the ends are a little bit different, they charge really quickly. So I'm hoping that this one will be the same. And with this, you can have sort of one cable that doesn't take up a lot of space, and you can have whatever you need. These are really good for in your vehicle, for instance, because I don't like having cables hanging when I'm not charging. So I pull it out to use, and then when I'm done, I retract it and it just sits right there. Our cell phone is one of our most important EDC tools. If you think about it, it is a tool that we have with us, has a lot of purposes. So it's really important to keep those charged at all times. Next, I've got this misting fan. So this is going to be really important for power outages during the summer. We always think about keeping warm in the winter if we live in a cold climate. Even if you don't live in a cold climate, it can get cold pretty much everywhere, just about. So it's always something to think about. But in the summer, if the power goes out, which it can really tend to do, or if there's a hurricane or something like that, you could be without power for a good long time sometimes, and heat can actually kill. So it can be important to stay cool. So this is something I got to try out. We have several battery operated fans. I just recently got a solar operated fan. This is a little bit different. You would recharge it. It's got 20,000 milliamp hours battery inside. And the cool thing is, if you do not need to use it for a fan, you can use the stored power to power your phone, a flashlight, any other device you need. It has lights and it has fan, obviously, and mist. It can add mist, and that can add a lot of cooling. That evaporative cooling that a little bit of wet mist can add can be really, really important, and that could be life-saving in a summer emergency. So I just thought this would be really nice to check out and see how it works. It got some good reviews. So I will let you know what we think of it. If you have one of these or something like it, let us know down in the comments. Give us your review. Now back here, I've got a set of super cubes. I'm going to get these out to show you. So this is what these are. If you're not familiar, you may have seen them. They're pretty popular. I think they started on Shark Tank, but this is a gift set that they have that has most of the different sizes they have. So what these are is, I'm going to open this up so you can see. So this is the set of really sturdy silicone containers with lids, and they are certain sizes. So this is a 2-cup size. It has 2 of these 2-cup little wells. And then they've got a 1 cup that has 4 wells. They've got a 1/2 cup, which has more. And then this is a little like 2 tablespoon one. And so you can use these to freeze all sorts of different foods. So you could do single servings of soups, stews, casseroles, anything like that in these. Freeze them like that, pop them out, store them in your freezer until you need them. These are great for sauces, gravies, little single servings of things. One thing I think is really cool that they have now is they have come out with, I think these are pretty new, ceramic dishes, baking dishes that will fit the individual little cubes. So you freeze them, store them in your freezer, flip them out, put them into these. You can bake them, microwave them. These have silicone lids that are oven safe up to like, I want to say 450 degrees. In fact, even these silicone things are even oven safe. Just you can't put this plastic lid into the oven. So for emergency preparedness purposes, I was thinking that these would be really good possibly to freeze portions of food and then put them into the freeze dryer when we get our freeze dryer working again. That way you can have individual portions. I have tried this in the past with sort of a different brand of something similar to this, but what I found was when I filled it full, when I actually went to put the cubes into the freeze dryer, they were too tall because it's a really pretty narrow space in between the shelves of the freeze dryer. And we actually have an older model, which they've added an extra shelf now. So there's even less space, I believe. So I will have to be careful not to fill these all the way full, but I thought this could be a really great thing for making individual servings to freeze dry as well. But for everyday purposes, I think these would be great, not only for saving time for myself, but maybe for some of my older kids that are on their own for the first time, to be able to make them some of their favorite dishes and freeze them in single serving sizes, give them like one dish, one of the baking dishes, and then whenever they need a meal, they can pop out 1 cube or 1 rectangle, put it in here, and then they can just have enough food for them for that one moment, and then they can just wash the 1 dish, and that's it. And it'll be a good way to sort of provide a little bit of home love to the kids. Next, I've got a few single serving, sort of shelf stable little items for the prepper pantry. Now, these are really handy if you are a single person prepping or you want to help out somebody who's alone, like an aging parent or a college student or something. They can also be good if within your family, not everyone likes to eat the same thing, or if you want to prep for maybe a workplace or any other place that you might want to have single serving. So these Idahoan potatoes, these are the shredded potatoes. They have bacon cheddar and triple cheese, different flavors. They're a single serving cup. You just pour hot water in them, boiling water, and they are going to soften up the potatoes and have like a nice creamy sauce. I have not actually eaten them plain, but they look pretty good, but I've used these in little single serve emergency meal in a bag recipes. So I did these with some scrambled egg powder that I mixed up and threw in a little piece of diced up Spam and made an amazingly delicious breakfast casserole single serving. So I think these are really nice to have on hand, especially if you have a smaller family. This was something I just kind of came across and discovered. So it's the same brand that makes like the ramen that everybody knows about, but these are actually rice bowls. So chicken flavored rice bowls. So these actually give microwave instructions where you pour the water in and microwave it. But I am certain that these will work just pouring in hot boiling water and letting it set. And this would be a really just plain and comforting sort of, high calorie, something to give you some energy and just a comforting, easy meal for a single person in an emergency. If you have kids that are picky, this could be something they could really like, or you could serve this as part of a meal, or you could even throw some canned meat or freeze-dried meat and maybe some vegetables into this and make a more hearty meal. It actually says there's 2 servings per container, so it is a pretty big container. I do think that a hungry person could eat this whole thing, especially if that was all they were eating. But especially if you have smaller appetites, then this could be split up into more than 1 serving. It did come as a case of 6. I believe I got it on Amazon. I will put links to everything down below. Next, I've got some more of these Knorr cups. So these are rice cups as well. These are fajita rice. So they have rice, beans, bell peppers, seasonings. I've gotten a few other varieties of these Knorr cups. I think they're new, but I'm not really sure. I've gotten noodles and rice. I haven't heard great reviews of these anywhere actually, but I thought they were worth a try. They're pretty inexpensive, and I think even if we don't love them, we can doctor them up. Usually there's somebody in the house who likes it. But once again, it gives microwave instructions, but I know it will work just pouring boiling water in because I've made meals just like this. This is a mac and cheese. This is a microwave cup, but I used this when I made individual emergency meals. I actually had to do it with a smaller cup because my kids keep eating these like crazy. They're disappearing. In fact, I had a whole stack of them and this was all that I had left. But what I like about these is that it is a single serving. So if you're prepping for, one or two people or smaller appetites, this is great because it is meant to go in the microwave. You can cook it in a pot. It cooks up a lot more quickly, and it's meant to be made without milk and butter. So it's super easy, and you can cook this up and throw a little pouch of barbecue pork, pulled pork on top of it, and have a pulled pork mac and cheese. It's like a hearty and comforting and delicious emergency meal, but super easy and super shelf stable. Next, I've got this black ramen, this Shin black ramen. I have been eyeing this at the store for a while. I think it's new at my store. I hadn't bought it yet, but I was reading some people's comments about ramen and what's the best ramen. And a lot of people said this is the best ramen. So I thought I would grab a pack and try it, let the kids try it. It says it's spicy. So I don't know how spicy it is. We'll see if the people in my household like it. Ramen is not a very healthy food, but it is very usually inexpensive. It doesn't last forever because of the oils in it. It will go rancid, but as long as you rotate it, you can make it healthier by throwing in canned or freeze-dried meats, vegetables, things like that, making a little bit healthier meal. Then I've got some of these individual rice cups. This rice is already cooked, so it's great for emergencies because even though it's meant to go in the microwave, once again, you can cook this in a pan. It just needs to be heated up. I have done a single serve fried rice with these, worked out amazingly well. So once again, if you have a smaller family, these could be really good. They're not going to have as long of a shelf life as plain, dry white rice or plain rice, dry rice at all. But they are good to have on hand for a couple of years. Rotate through them. They're very easy in emergency. They will cook up in no time. Just heat them, and you don't need to have water to prepare them either, which can be an issue in an emergency. There's all kinds of different flavors. What I have right here is just white rice, brown rice, and jalapeno rice. This is another one, butter and sea salt. I got a bunch of these because my kids have been loving these and going through these pretty quickly, so I have to keep replacing them. But that's really the way to do it with your emergency food. You want stuff that's going to get eaten and rotated, not stuff that's going to get put away and forgotten about until it's too old and gets thrown away. Just make sure you have enough extra so that if things go badly, you have on hand to last for a few weeks, a few months, whatever you're comfortable with. Along the same lines of those rice cups, these are rice pouches. Once again, fully cooked rice that just needs to be heated, typically in the microwave. So they are handy to have on hand if you need a really quick side dish for a meal some night, but they're also, you can open them up, throw them in a pan or in a casserole or something and use them for emergencies. No water required. Heat and eat, super quick. This is one from Dollar Tree, broccoli and cheddar. I've just never tried this flavor. Wanted to try it and see if we like it and see if I want to buy more. And then these are a couple butter and garlic different flavored pouches that I thought we'd try because my kids have been loving that butter and sea salt rice. So I wanted to see if they would like these as well. Then right here, this is Kraft mac and cheese. They've come out with several limited edition flavors, which I thought was kind of cool. I mean, I have a love affair with Kraft mac and cheese since I was a kid. I love it. I don't eat it often, but the one thing about Kraft mac and cheese in your prepper pantry is keep in mind it requires milk and butter to prepare, or you can use other shelf-stable things in its place, but do keep in mind you're going to want something or it's not going to taste that great. But this is a smoky barbecue flavor. I have showed in past hauls there's a jalapeno flavor and there's a ranch flavor. This was one that I found later, so I got a few boxes so we could try it and see if it's worth stocking up on. These are only $1 right now at Walmart. I will have a link down below in case you can't find them. I had to have these shipped to me, but free shipping. They do have 2.5 servings in a box for $1, so that's not bad. And you could always throw in some chicken and veggies, something like that, to spruce these up into a more hearty meal. And then back here, I've got that old prepper standby. Toilet paper, of course, seems to be always the first thing people run for whenever there's panic going on. So it's a good idea to just always keep yourself well stocked. I try to keep 6 months to a year on hand at least, as long as you have space to store it, because it is kind of bulky. This, I believe, is the best deal on toilet paper that I've ever found, including looking at warehouse clubs and stuff. So, and then of course, flushable wipes is something that can be in addition to toilet paper. It can stand in for toilet paper. It's a good thing to have just on hand extra. This is a big pack. There's 10 of the smaller packs inside. Most people will say that even though they say flushable, it's not great to flush them, but in an emergency, you probably would not be flushing anyways. If there's no running water, you're going to be burying, burning, something else. But if you just use these every day, you can throw them in the garbage. And then I got this cleaner with bleach, this great value. I've got about probably 8 bottles of this here. This is a cleaner that I love. It used to be $1.99, 98 cents. Now it's like $1.48, I think. But because I do keep it well stocked, because we learned a lot of lessons during COVID, this was something that I wasn't able to find at the store for over a year during that time. So I make sure to keep a lot on hand, but because I keep so much, I was able to go probably a year or more after they raised the price before I actually had to buy any at that price. So, you know, keeping a well-stocked prepper pantry can also help you with saving money. And then I've got, there's actually 3 cases here. They're stacked up. These are half-gallon canning jars. They're great for storing dry goods. I store things like chia seeds, salt, different herbal teas that we have in bulk, things like that I store in these half-gallon jars. It's a non-toxic material. It's very airtight. You just need to keep it out of the light. These are Mainstays, so they're Walmart's brand, and they're fine jars. There's nothing wrong with them. What I actually really like about them, besides the fact that they're inexpensive, is that they're completely smooth on the sides. They have no imprinting at all, and I like to label my jars on the sides, so that really helps. So I actually like that. These Mainstays jars are only available in a few different sizes, but I think they're worth the money savings to get them when you can. I do have a bunch of extra canning lids here. I will use the lids that come with the Mainstays jars, and I will use the lids that come with the ball jars. But when I replace my lids, I don't buy those brands. I usually buy like 4 jars or Superb. So these are 4 jars. They're really, really good lids. And I find that when you buy these brands, because they do sell them in bulk, like these are 100 packs, you can actually get a much better deal than some of those other brands. So these are just lids only, no rings, because I have tons and tons of rings, wide mouth and regular mouth. Really important to have a lot of this stuff on hand, not only for canning. Even if you don't can, if you do freeze-dried meals in a jar, dry meals in a jar, if you do store your dry goods, and in an emergency, you might really need to start canning, even if it's not something that you typically do. I just noticed hiding back here, this is my favorite brownie pan. I absolutely love it. It has a nice nonstick coating. It makes individual brownies. So my girls love to make brownies in these. I think I like to make things like little egg bites in them and things like that. I have these in this size, and I have them in a mini size. They're great for mini muffins, little egg bites, things like that. But this is actually a half size pan. This is new, I think, and it's meant to be used in like a toaster oven. So I got a couple of these because I love this pan, and I love the idea of being able to bake in a toaster oven, because it can save a lot of energy. I've had a period in time when like I didn't have an oven, so I had to have a toaster oven to bake in, and you really get used to it. It works really well, rather than heating up a huge, large oven all the time if you can fit it. But also a smaller pan like this is going to be better for a lot of emergency type of ovens. Like a lot of the ovens you can get that you can use in an emergency that aren't electric have a smaller cavity to put your food in. So it's important to have some smaller pans. And I just like the versatility of this. I could use my large pan, and if I have a little overflow, I have a smaller pan to use. It's just, I love it for so many reasons, because we love these pans. I've got some prepper pantry meats here. That's always important to have. Proteins. I've got a few big Keystone cans. Keystone is absolutely the best canned meat that I've ever had. So I love Keystone. We use them a lot. They're great for emergency meals in a bag that I make that are like emergency meal kits. Grab 1 bag. You have everything you need to make a whole meal. This time I got a couple cans of chicken, but they have like ground beef, roast beef, turkey, pork. They have all kinds of meats that are amazing. The best place to buy those is Walmart. I will have links down below. My Walmart recently started carrying them in store, but if yours doesn't, you can order them. And then I've got a few cans of the Great Value pulled pork in barbecue sauce. These are smaller cans. They're handy because the meat's already ready. It's already seasoned. Up here, I've got a few like individual pouches. This one is bacon, actually. Of course, this bacon is shelf stable, but once you open the package, it does need to be refrigerated. And I can attest to the fact that I leave a lot of things out of the refrigerator that say they need refrigerated. These, once the package is compromised, they will start to mold. So these small bags, like I buy gigantic bags of this at Sam's Club that I keep in my fridge for every day, but in emergencies, you want something you can use up. So if you wanted to put this in a casserole or in a soup, any kind of a dish that you wanted bacon, this is a nice small size, 2.5 ounces. It's perfect for one recipe. And then these are all individual serving pouches. Mostly these are flavored ones. You can get them plain. This is fajita flavored chicken. Like this would be perfect to mix with one of those little cups of rice, for instance. Barbecue pulled pork. This is what I use to put on my little single serving of mac and cheese for a pulled pork mac and cheese. They also have chicken. So if you don't eat pork, this is a barbecue chicken. And then I got a case of these Spam singles. I got the light because these happened to be on sale. I did post this in my Wicked Prepared Deals and Steals page, so you might have gotten this deal. It sold out a couple times, but it kept coming back. I'm not sure if it's still on sale, but I will post the link just in case. It was a really good deal for these. And these are super handy because these are single serving pouches. So if you are packing like a bug out bag or packing food in your car, food for your workplace, if you're helping to prep for someone who is single, or if you are single yourself, or maybe just two people. So these are great. It's a single serving of the Spam. You can use it in a lot of different ways. You could fry it up and throw it on some bread or crackers. You can put it in fried rice. You could put it into a casserole, a breakfast casserole. I've actually done some really neat stuff with these. I will link my single serve emergency meal kit video down below if anybody wants to check that out. And next I've got my freeze-dried food. Of course, freeze-dried food has really kind of come to the forefront of being the most desirable food for preppers. It's got just a much longer shelf life. It has a lot more nutrition than any other shelf-stable food. It maintains its nutrition, and it's just super easy to use in an emergency. It doesn't need a long cooking time. Most of it you can just eat just as is. So I've got a bunch of number 10 cans here. First, I've got strawberries, sliced strawberries. Now I grabbed a couple of these because these were actually in the clearance section. So there's a bunch of stuff on clearance for various reasons. It might be that the can is not filled all the way. It might be that there's a labeling error, which would be noted, or it might just be that they're a few years into their shelf life. But honestly, in my opinion, if something has a 25-year shelf life, I will take a couple years less than that to get a big discount. So I got this can and I kind of felt it and jiggled it, and I can tell that it's really full. So if you want to check out the clearance section, I will put a direct link down below in the description box. Make sure that you follow that link to get the best prices and create an account with your email right off, because that unlocks the ability to get the lowest prices. So I got 2 cans of the strawberries because I did want to try, check them out first before I ordered a bunch more, but I think I might because it's a really good deal. As long as there's any left, it's very, very limited in the clearance. And then I got some items that are just on sale this month, just your typical sale. I've got freeze-dried corn. This stuff is amazing. It's delicious. It's so sweet and so just fresh tasting. It tastes like it's right out of the field. I got some green beans, mashed potatoes. These are just potatoes, so there's nothing else in them besides potatoes. And what I like about these is that they are packaged up for long-term shelf life, as opposed to like buying a cardboard box of potatoes at the store. And then I've got a diced chicken. So this is the chicken that happens to be on sale this month, and I used this when I made a whole bunch of chicken salad in a jar that were really great. You just had to pour in some cold water and let it sit for a few hours and have amazing fresh chicken salad. I do have a couple of coupon codes that I can send you, and I will put something down in the description box below as well. But if you join my text alert service, I will send you any coupons that come out as soon as they come out, flash sales, price drops, anything like that. So a lot of people really like to be on that list. And then I've got some more freeze-dried stuff over here. Now, this is a company that I had not tried before. It's Freeze Dry Wholesalers. I am always on the lookout for new and different ingredients. I love making meals in a jar. Meals in a jar are amazing. You can put all of your ingredients shelf stable into a mason jar. All you have to do is add water. You can include the meat, the vegetable, the starch. You can include the dairy. You can include the sauces. Everything you need, just add water. They're life-changing. They're great for emergencies because they're shelf-stable for the long term. Just add water, quick cooking. But they're also just kind of good lifesavers for everyday busy days. It's like a healthier homemade convenience food. So there are some different foods here and some different ingredients that I'm super excited about. Look at this, you guys, freeze-dried chicken nuggets. So these are like literally chicken nuggets, all cooked, freeze-dried, shelf stable for years and years. Can you imagine, like if you have kids or teenagers, can you imagine being able to give them chicken nuggets in an emergency? This is insane. I think these would probably also be really possibly good to snack on dry. I'm going to have to try them and see and play around with the best way to rehydrate these. But this was so exciting for me to find. And then freeze-dried cauliflower. I know this might not seem that exciting to a lot of people, but this is something that I was not able to get anymore from Thrive Life. And I have a lot of recipes that use it. And it's a really great substitute for pasta, for instance, in meals in a jar. If you try to eat low carb, which I do, you can do things like make pizza crust out of it, make all sorts of things. So it's something that I really, really like to have. So I was so glad to find another source for this. And then freeze-dried cheese tortellini. This is amazing. I have used the dried tortellini that's shelf stable before, and that's nice to have. It's awesome, but it's just not the same as like fresh or even frozen tortellini. So this is the real deal. So this is going to be such a game changer to have in the prepper pantry and to be able to use in my jar meals. And my kids love, love, love tortellini. So this, I mean, sometimes my youngest daughter who's picky, that's one of the few things that she actually eats. Like, so I cook tortellini a lot. So to be able to have this on my shelf stable for emergencies is amazing. And then here's another one that might not sound that exciting to some people, but if you do, if you make your own meals, I have been looking for a source for freeze-dried cooked pasta for a long, long time, because this can be like when I do my regular meals in a jar, it's fine to use regular pasta and it just cooks for 8 or 10 minutes. But I really like to do emergency single serve meals in Mylar pouches where you just pour in boiling water and let it set. You don't have to cook it at all. And it makes a meal like those backpacking, like Mountain House meals and Peak Refuel, all those kinds of meals. So this is going to be a game changer for that, because this pasta will be able to rehydrate just by pouring in boiling water, which, you know, is really difficult to do. Otherwise, if you're using like a dried pasta, you have to have a really quick cooked pasta. It's hard to work with. I've experimented with it. This is going to be game changing. And this company has several different pasta shapes. So excited to find this. Look down below for a link to all of this stuff that I'm showing you. And I also have a coupon code just for my viewers that you can find down there as well. And if you want to stay up to date on the different sales and coupons and things going on with this company, then just text wholesale to my number down below, and I will send you my exclusive coupon code and keep you updated on big sales. This is another one that is going to be kind of game changing. So this is actually uncooked, so raw beef short rib. And this is probably the only company I've ever found that sells raw freeze-dried meat. And let me tell you, like, we realized at some point that we wanted to store freeze-dried raw meat, because there are some dishes that it's just different. If you're taking like braised short ribs, for instance, this is beef short ribs. So it would be totally different to just be able to put these in all the ingredients, you know, rehydrate them, put them in the ingredients and cook them in the dish, the stew, the dish that you're making, as opposed to having something already cooked that you're throwing in. Same with like chicken breasts, for instance, raw chicken breasts, raw whole chicken breasts. I have a lot of recipes that use that would just not be the same with a cooked diced chicken product. So being able to have some freeze-dried raw meat is going to be an amazing, amazing thing for the pantry. And just knowing that it's done by a company that has years and years of experience, I know that it's safe. Like, that just is a huge thing for me. Freeze Dry Wholesalers does nitrogen flushing with their foods. So they basically fill this bag with nitrogen, which displaces all of the oxygen, and the nitrogen cannot react with the food and cause like rancidity and things like that. So it's a really great way to preserve it. And in the past, I shied away from, you know, things that were stored in Mylar bags, especially with a window. But this is a new technology where this window is not like, it's not like there's a hole in the bag and they laid a clear window over it and adhered it. This is all one piece. It's all part of the same material. So it's just as strong from oxygen and moisture in this window as it is everywhere else in the bag. And so the only thing you have to watch out for, I believe, is I don't think it's completely like light blocking. So you would definitely want to keep this in a dark place, which is really true of all of your food storage, especially anything though that's in clear, like in mason jars or a windowed bag. This is another item that was really cool. And these bags are much bigger and much fuller than I thought that they would be. And this is really like packed in here tight. You can see this is a lot of food in here. So this is freeze-dried ancient grains and kale, red and brown rice, quinoa, barley, and kale. Super, super healthy side dish. Super, super nutritious. This is going to be so much better for you than just plain old white rice. And this is going to cook up super quickly as well. Just throwing in some boiling water, and you could have a side dish, or you could add some meats and other things and make this a heartier meal. And then this is something I was so excited about. This is fully cooked corned beef. If you know me, corned beef is one of my favorite things in the whole wide world. So to find this freeze-dried was like a game changer to me. This was totally awesome. I was so excited to find this corned beef. Even if you only had this once a year on St. Patty's Day, imagine how much like normalcy and good feelings that would bring to you if you were in a really tough situation. And that's what prepping is all about, really, is not only survival, but also just keeping a little bit of comfort in our lives in tough times. Super exciting, super exciting. I've got a couple of things here that are little packets of lotion. Lotion is a huge necessity for my hands. Like, I need to put lotion on my hands multiple times a day, or I'm just very uncomfortable, especially after I wash my hands, but I just don't feel right without it. So I wanted, I do keep little 1 ounce and 2 ounce little tubes of lotion that I keep in my purse and my EDC in my car, but I just don't ever like to be caught without it. So I like to have individual packets of things like this because I can stash them in more places. So if I'm ever caught without my purse, my EDC, anything like that, I could have one of these pouches. So I just bought a few things to try. These are the ones that came. I think this might be all I ordered, just to try these out and see if I like either one of them. Because I'm also kind of picky about the lotion itself. Like, some lotions just don't make my skin feel good. It's not moisturizing enough, or it's irritating. So it has to be something that is actually going to do the job. I'm hoping one of these will do the trick. So this is a body and hand lotion. There's a bunch of packets. See, they're just very thin. I mean, you could even slide one of these into your wallet, into a pocket. I mean, into many different places that you couldn't put a small tube. This, I think I might actually like these a little bit different. It says moisturizing hand cream, deep nourishing. So if that's true, then these sound like they might be even better. And I kind of like it's a variety pack. So there's, I think, 4 or 5 different scents, or not flavors, but I like this packet. I like the size and shape of it. And it seems like there's probably a little less lotion than these packets. And I really need very little, and I don't want to have extra because I don't want to feel like I'm throwing some away. So I'm going to try both of these, and hopefully one of them is going to do the trick for what I want. But I really like small individual packets of things that I like to have on hand all the time. Pretty soon I will do a video on my EDC and the things that I carry with me every day. So let me know down below if you'd be interested in seeing that. So next I got some of these plaque control, oral hygiene support, soft chews for dogs and cats. This is a pretty new product, and we have been using these, and it's been doing wonders for our dogs. Like their dental health, but really for their breath too. Like this, it really keeps their teeth a lot cleaner, and that's like works internally. So it's more like, I don't know, it's not like it's trying to scrape things off their teeth. It's working like through their blood system and stuff, but it works really well. And we've been using it for a few months. So I'm trying to keep ahead of it, because just like with ourselves, we need to prep for our pets. We want to make sure that their health and their dental health and everything is taken care of. It's in top condition, and we have what we need to keep it that way if we're not able to get to the vets or the doctors. So I try to get some of these at least every month if I can. I have 3 bottles. If I put these 3 bottles on an auto ship, it gives me free shipping, and it makes sure that I'm going to keep on top of it. Works really great. This is something new to me. I'd seen these for quite a while, and I finally broke down and tried them. And then it occurred to me they could be great for emergencies. This is like a coffee concentrate. So they're flavored. I'm not sure if you can get unflavored. I would think you could. They're not sweetened, so you would have to add your own sweetener, which is what I do. That's kind of nice because you can add what you want and how much you want. They just have the like essence of flavor. But these are, you just add them to water or milk. I've been putting mine in almond milk usually. and very, very little is needed. Like I get a big tumbler that I take with me, and I put like 2 teaspoons of this in for a really big cup of iced coffee. So yeah, because it says 35 servings per container, and I don't know if you can tell how small these containers are. They're pretty small for 35 servings, and they're really good. So these would be great for emergencies because you could add them to cold water, cold milk, hot water, anything you wanted. In an emergency, I would probably use my instant milk powder and have an easy coffee. These do have caffeine in them. So if you're a coffee person like me, you definitely need to have a solution, an off-grid solution for your coffee, which we have several options. We have instant coffee. We have different kind of off-grid coffee machines. You can tell that I'm a lover of coffee. But these are a great emergency option, I think. And honestly, I just noticed today as I was looking at these here where it says keep refrigerated after opening. But honestly, I never noticed that before. So I have used up whole bottles of these, had them open for months and not refrigerated them because I didn't see that. And it was absolutely fine. Nothing happened to it. There was nothing wrong with it. It didn't change. So up here, I've got this little thing. So this is just a little gift bag. This is just kind of me encouraging you to use Walmart's pickup option if you never have before, because they occasionally, periodically give out these little free gift bags of free samples. And I just think this is so awesome. I get so excited when I get one of these. I hadn't gotten one for a while and I just got one. So I'm going to show you the kind of stuff that tends to be in this. This is just something I got for free with my pickup order. So this one had a individual bag of chips. It has a sample of Oxy Boost Tide pods. It has a Triple Care Bausch & Lomb dry eye drops. That's really cool. A small container of this. A Belvita little breakfast bar, cinnamon oat. My girls will love this. This is a whole can of Smart Water, electrolytes, balanced pH. It's a whole can. This is really cool. And then a sample of a waterproof clear Band-Aid, 2 Band-Aids in here. This is a Wonder Belly Antacid Strawberry Milkshake sample pack. Dishwasher cleaner sample, and a Liquid IV hydration packet sample. These are super, super expensive in the store. So that's awesome that I got all of that stuff. Now, I love free stuff. Honestly, to me, everything you get for free is one thing you do not have to spend your money on. That's one snack I didn't have to buy. It's one load of laundry I didn't have to pay for. That's little bits of money that add up that you can put to something else. So I just wanted to say, if you don't use Walmart's pickup service, definitely you should start. Next, I've got another drink-related item. So these are little smoothie packets. You guys might have seen me show these before because I get them pretty much every month. I have them on an auto ship because that's the cheapest way to get them. What I love about these in general is that they have a huge variety of different fruits and vegetables. There's actually several servings of fruits and vegetables in one packet, and you can see how small this packet is. So there's lots of different varieties. So I love them for every day. You can see that each one has a different benefit that it really is designed to give you. And each one has a whole different mix of different fruits and vegetables that it has inside. So you're getting a wide variety of different nutrients. Like they say, eat the rainbow. This is a really easy way to squeeze those extra servings into your day, especially if you are super busy or you aren't able to keep a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables on hand. But for emergencies, that's where I think they can really shine, because these have a shelf life of at least 18 months. I've had some much longer than that were fine, but I know as far as keeping the nutrition, I know they're guaranteed for at least 18 months, maybe more. And you can get a few servings of really good fruit and vegetable nutrition very easily with one packet, whether you mix it with water, whether you mix it with something else, some other kind of liquid, or whether you mix it into like yogurt or something like that. It's just a really, really good way to get that nutrition. And in emergency situations, we are not going to be probably getting the best nutrition. So the extra insurance would be wonderful. These are also the perfect size to stick in like a bug out bag to keep in your vehicle. So if you are stuck somewhere eating whatever you have, this is going to add a little bit of extra nutrition to that. So that's why this is part of my Prepper Pantry emergency plan. But they're also just great for every day. My girls love these. That's kind of why I have so many of this flavor and not so many of the others in this package, because this is a new flavor. So we buy several months ahead because we are preppers, so we keep a good supply. So I had a good supply of all the other flavors when the new one came out. And now my girls really love this flavor, especially my youngest. This is like her favorite. So I have to kind of sort of bulk up. So for a few months, I'm switching to getting mostly this new flavor. But I will have a link down below if you want to check these out. And I believe I also have a coupon code for you. So go ahead and check that out if this is something you think you could use in your life. Next, I've got a couple of other kind of prepper pantry items. I do keep things like this in these baskets, which I got a bunch more of these baskets in my last haul. So this is forbidden rice or black rice. So this is much, much more healthy than regular white rice. It has so many more health benefits. I bought some recently and I hadn't tried it. So I cooked some up one night and I just used my rice cooker, my KitchenAid rice cooker, which I love. It's the most amazing rice cooker ever. I use the settings. It has settings for many different types of grains and rices. And then it has like a water tank, kind of like a Keurig, and it adds the right amount of water. You just put your grain in or your rice, it weighs it, it knows how much water, puts the right amount in. I don't have to measure anything, which is the most stressful part for me with cooking rice. I don't have to look up the time and the water amount for any different type of rice, but it didn't have black rice. It didn't have forbidden rice. So I did a little research and I used the settings for short grain brown rice and it came out perfect. And so we tried it and we really, really liked this. In fact, Mr. Wicked Prepared, who is a rice lover, but he doesn't love brown rice, he liked this better. He said this was closer to white rice, at least in the flavor. I mean, it's pitch black, so it's not close in its appearance. But in flavor, he said this was closer to white rice than brown rice is to white rice. And this was much more enjoyable. So I'm like, if this has so much more nutrition and we like it, then I am going to buy a lot more of it. So I got a bunch more of it so that I could stock it up really well. You can use it just like white rice. And then I also got some more of these potato pouches because these are super good for prepping. You don't need to add milk, butter, salt. They're all flavored. Just add water. You can cook these with just hot water, boiling water. They're pretty small pouches, but if you have a bigger family, you just use multiple pouches. I use these sometimes if we just need a really quick potato with a dinner or something. So I have to keep buying them, but I try to keep a good supply because they're a great prepper pantry item. If you were going to open up a can of like soup, for instance, or stew or something, you could put it over these potatoes and make it even more hearty. You can make recipes with these potatoes. I've done a lot of that. My emergency meal kits. These are just a great thing to have on hand and they're very inexpensive. Over here, I've got a few kitchen-y items. So this is just another set of these 1 cup prep bowls that I love. Like these, they have lids, they're 1 cup. They are oven safe. So if you wanted to bake like little individual desserts, but they're really meant for meal prep. So if you're, say you have like some time in the morning and you can start getting your dinner ready, you can chop up some of your veggies, but you're not cooking them till later. You can do them in here. You can keep the lids on them, keep them in your fridge. When it comes time for dinner, you are ready to go. Or if you are just getting ready to cook something, you want to get everything laid out ahead of time. These are great. When I do, we have a cooking show that we do once a month where we teach all about cooking with freeze-dried food. If you're interested in seeing those shows, I have a Facebook group that I'll link down below where we put all the information for those shows. So, but when I do those, I like to have my ingredients all laid out ahead of time so that it goes quickly. And so I use these a lot for that. These could also be good for like food preservation. If you have a big canning project, getting things ready to go before you get started. Then I've got this little opener. So it's really important to have manual can openers in your prepping stuff. This is an opener that's going to open pretty much everything besides a can because I have can openers. So this has an opener for, this will open like a canning jar, like lid. It will hook onto like a pull tab and help you pull up a pull tab. It will open, has a bottle opener. It has a opener for bottle caps that you can slide the bottle cap in and it will catch those grooves and help you turn it if you have a hard time with that. And it also has a place that will help open like a soda can type of opener. So this was a handy little tool that I thought I would add to my drawer. And then I got this. This is actually a fold out dish drainer that lays across the sink. See, I absolutely hate doing dishes by hand. I avoid it at all costs, so I rarely do it. So I got rid of our bulky, ugly, yucky dish drainer that we didn't really have room to store for something that we hardly ever used. But I do realize that in an emergency when the power's out, some kind of grid down situation, I'm going to be doing a lot more dishes by hand. So I really need to have a solution for draining them. I love that this is, it folds up and it can stick out of the way under my sink in a corner and not take up all the space that the old one did. These baskets that come off the end, they hook onto it and hang down into the sink, and they are the little utensil pockets. I love that this can also be used as a trivet. So this could be used to put some like a large casserole dish on if I need something to set it on the table or the counter, or several dishes if I'm serving a dinner or something. I really like things that can have multiple purposes, especially if it's something like this, something that I don't use very often for its intended purpose. But I thought this was a really cool addition to our grid down gear. Back here, I've got a stack of these large bins. In my last haul, I had the more narrow ones, and I had those gray bins like those, but these are the really large bins. I use a ton of these on my shelves to store, like, I don't know, a lot of one thing that I don't have enough to make like one row of. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I'll put all of my different, like, I have a lot of spices in these bins. Lots of different things I will put in these bins. These are just a really great solution to organize my pantry. And then back here, I've got 2 sets of the canisters that I like to use. I was freaking out for a little bit because these were out of stock, all of these sets, and I thought they weren't going to carry them anymore. And I love these canisters. I like this set of 3. It has the 3 different sizes, and this smallest size, which holds 4 cups, this is the only way you can get this. They don't sell this one separately, and it is a much better deal for all 3, buying them as a set than separately, even though the price has gone up on this since I started buying them. But I love these canisters. And then I've got this thing up here. This is like what I store my pasta in mostly. A lot of my pasta shapes that I have a lot of that I use a lot, my more bulky pasta shapes. This container holds 46 cups, so it's really big. So it's not going to be really good for anything that would be dense and heavy. Like if you put rice in this, I don't think I'd be able to really carry this around the kitchen very easily. So I use this for bulky pasta shapes, and I do have oats in a couple of them. That's kind of mostly the only stuff that I use this for, but it is a nice container that I like. I do also have ones that are half this height that I do put rice in, and it does come with a pour spout. This is removable. I never actually use these. I always take them out. So I just use it without the pour spout, because with my pasta, my oats and things like that, I am scooping and measuring it out like that with a cup. Over here, I've got some crackers. Now, I think crackers is a good like short or medium term prepper pantry item, because crackers are a good stand-in for bread if you don't have bread. If you have like some tuna salad in a pouch or something and you don't have bread, you can put it on crackers. If you make some cream chipped beef that you would normally serve over toast, or salmon, anything like that that you would put in a cream sauce, usually put over toast or biscuits, you can put that over crackers. There's a lot of places that you can use crackers, and they're going to stand in the prepper pantry a lot longer than, say, bread would, if you don't have the time or the inclination or the baking method to bake your own bread. They're not going to last forever. I would say probably about a year, maybe a little bit more, but just rotate them if crackers is something that you eat. I have seen some people vacuum seal crackers in a mason jar, like those big half-gallon mason jars, or maybe use an oxygen absorber and say that they lasted a lot longer. I haven't tried it myself, so I'm not sure. Like I said, we will rotate through these, but I think it's important to keep some on hand. I got several boxes of these. These are just something my kids have been liking lately, so I switched to this kind. I got the Great Value to save some money, but this Club brand, this Sweet Hawaiian is a new flavor, I think, and so they had a good rebate for this on Ibotta, so $1.25 off, and I'm going to try the Sweet Hawaiian, which looks really good. If you are not a member of Ibotta, it's a really great way to save a lot of money on your groceries. I'll put a link down below for you to set up an account if you haven't and you would like to. I have earned so much money back on things I buy anyways by using Ibotta. It's the new way to do couponing because it's all digital, so it's a lot easier. You don't have to search through the papers and clip things out, and you can just save money digitally. Here I got a few bags of, these are sugar-free peanut butter chips. Now this is kind of an odd thing, but this has become one of my favorite like low-carb little sweet treat dessert thingies. Like just a little tablespoonful of these is so delicious, and So satisfying. Tastes like peanut butter fudge. I usually use the Reese's. So I've been buying them at the grocery store in these little bags, which are pretty expensive. And I'm going through them pretty regularly. Like I said, I only eat like a small amount when I eat them, but I eat them pretty much every day. So I was looking for a cheaper way to buy them in bulk. And Amazon had, it says Reese's sugar-free. So it's the same chips, I guess. It's just in this bulk bag. And it was much less per ounce by the unit pricing than buying the grocery store bags. And then the Lily's, I think the Lily's, I've never tried the Lily's peanut butter chips. I think they were a little bit cheaper even. And that's why I decided I would try these, because I could switch to them if I like them as well as the Reese's. So I got a bulk of each. I will use them. I really only use them to snack on, because if I make cookies, I'm not going to eat the cookies really, so I put regular peanut butter chips in them. These are just my sugar-free sweet treat that I absolutely love. And I'm just looking for a cheaper way to stock up on them. So then back here, I've got a bunch of pasta. So I think pasta is a really important, like, basic prepper pantry item. It is inexpensive. It's filling. Pretty much everybody likes pasta. And if you gather some one-pot pasta recipes, you can cook without needing extra water you're going to drain off. In a one-pot pasta recipe, all of the ingredients go in, plus the raw pasta, the uncooked pasta, and the water. It absorbs the water. You don't drain anything off, and it works really well. This one right here, I'm going to start with this one because this is, I grabbed these because this was a kind of pasta. I accidentally ripped this one, but I'll be putting it into a canister anyways. I saw a recipe online, and it called for a kind of pasta that I thought was just like a misspelling. It kind of looked like an AI recipe, which those make me grouchy to begin with. And I was saying, this AI bot can't even spell rotini or whatever kind of pasta. So I decided to Google it and look it up. And actually, this is a kind of pasta, trotole. I've never, ever heard of this. I could not believe there was a kind of pasta, a shape of pasta I've never heard of, because I have a huge variety of different pasta shapes. It's one of my biggest things. I love to have different pasta shapes. So this was something interesting to me. I had never seen it, and it ended up being like less than $2 for every pound, 1 pound, which is a pretty decent price for a like sort of boutique pasta like this. So I did get 12 bags of these just so that I could have this different pasta shape. Different pasta shapes can be good for different recipes. They're gonna, hold a sauce differently, or a dressing in a pasta salad. Just give a different feel to the dish. So I store a lot of pasta. Like I said, I think it's a very, very important basic part of a prepper pantry. I mean, if you are gluten-free, you can get gluten-free pasta. You can get low-carb pasta if you eat low-carb. There's lots of different options. I get the high-protein pasta, so I've got a lot of that back there. I've got elbow macaronis because that's what needed restocking. And then I've got some packs that have like rotini and penne, because those are all basic pasta shapes that I use. And if I can get them in a little bit healthier form, I do. So I've got whole wheat elbows, and I've got the protein plus elbows. And what I do is I mix these together in my canister. When you used to be able to get the veggie pasta that was made with veggies in it, I used to add those too, but I can't find those anymore. So when I can find healthier pasta versions, I buy those, mix them together, and that's what we eat. Besides that, I have got some 3. It's a large pack of the Prego traditional. This was from Sam's Club. I just needed to kind of replace sauce that we'd used. It wasn't on sale, so I didn't buy a whole bunch of it. I'll keep an eye out for it on sale, and I'll buy more when it's on sale, but I didn't want to, let our supply get depleted, because pasta and sauce is such a basic meal that you can provide your family so easily and so inexpensively, and it's a really good emergency friendly option. One more thing that kind of goes along with the pasta is this Parmesan cheese, but I've got to tell you, this is not what you think it is. This is from Dollar Tree. If you get the big container of Parmesan like this from Dollar Tree, it is not even, it's grated topping with Parmesan, so it's not good stuff that you would want to eat. So I buy these for one reason and one reason only. We don't even use the cheese because it's not even real cheese. These lids, Parmesan cheese lids, fit perfectly on a regular mouth mason jar and just give you a really nice top that you can use for other items. And this is the cheapest way for me to get Parmesan cheese lids. I use the ones off of the good cheese that we do eat, but I never have enough. I always need more lids. So I think I found a place you could buy just the lids, but it was more than $1.25 a lid. So this is just what I do to get those lids to use on my mason jars. Next, I've got one of these little drink mixes. I think I mentioned this before, that I could see Walmart was coming out with some clear drink enhancers. So they're getting rid of the dyes that are in them, which is an awesome thing. And this is the watermelon one that I grabbed. It's always a good idea to have some water flavorings in your prepper pantry, because even if you like drinking plain water, sometimes when water has been stored or treated, it might have a little bit of an off taste or just a dull taste. Sometimes you might want to just spruce it up a little bit, or if you have anyone in your family who doesn't like drinking plain water, but you need to make sure they stay hydrated in an emergency, it's always a good idea to have some flavorings. Here's a couple things that could go on those crackers. This Cheese Wow is like a shelf-stable cheese. This is not, I don't know, it actually does have some real milk and real cheese in it, and it does have some calcium, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend this is a health food. But it's easy, it's tasty, it's comforting. We also use this for our dogs. So if you need your dog to come to you or to, you know, stay still for whatever reason, these can be handy. But they're also good for a little snack on some crackers. And a lot of times, you know, if we were to have a power outage and we know it's only going to be really brief and the power is going to be coming back on, we may not pull out all the bells and whistles. We might not want to start our generator. We might not want to pull out our butane stove and cook up a whole meal. We might just want to snack on something simple. So this could be something that we might pull out and snack on with the crackers. This is something new. Walmart, you've probably seen on my recent videos, they have this new Better Goods brand, and there's so many interesting things that I'm finding in this new brand. So this is a cookies and cream spread. Sounds really tasty, sort of like Nutella, not very healthy, just like a snack and a treat. And this is shelf stable, and it says on it, do not refrigerate. So this is something that you'll just keep in your cabinet. So it's a really good little sweet treat to have in an emergency on some crackers. This is a dried dehydrated cabbage. I use this in some of my meals in a jar because I have not yet found freeze-dried cabbage. So I have used this in some different meals. So I needed to get some more of this. This is a really good company that we like working with. They have really good products. So I will have a link, and I believe I have a coupon code down below that I can put if you're interested in any of their products. Next, I've got some mayonnaise. I've got a really big jug back there that I grabbed from Sam's Club, because in the summer we tend to eat a lot of like mayonnaise-based salads, broccoli salad, potato salad, macaroni salad. So we use a lot of mayonnaise, and that was the cheapest way to get it for when we're using a lot. These were on sale, so these were almost as cheap per ounce to buy these smaller jugs. They're still pretty big, 64 ounces, but this is a good way to sort of illustrate, like, having a food storage can be a convenience thing. It can be a money-saving thing. You know, you don't have to go to the store all the time. You have the food you need. There's lots of different types of emergencies. So there's going to be plenty of emergencies where you might not lose power. It might be a lockdown. It might be you lose your job and you can't afford to buy groceries for, 6 months. Those are times you would probably still have refrigeration. You could use large jars like this, but it's important when you're stocking your prepper pantry to also think about small containers for times when the power is out, because you're not going to have a way to refrigerate when you open a large container. So I did get some packets of mayonnaise. I use these in like my chicken salad jar meals, and I've used these in mayonnaise rolls, like meal in a jar, little roll mix in a jar. Lots of different ways you can use these. Or if you just were going to mix up a tuna pouch and you wanted some mayonnaise, these are great because you're not going to have leftovers like you would with a big jar. Another thing you can consider is smaller packaging like this. This is 8 ounces. This is from Dollar Tree. I found smaller packages at Walmart that you can keep on hand for if you need some for a recipe, but you're not going to want to have a lot left over. I've got some paper goods back here. This is really just tissues. Definitely, something you want to keep on hand. Paper goods like this is not going to go bad, so store as much as you can use. Of course, I also have toilet paper. You can use toilet paper for tissues if you don't have enough space to store a lot of tissues. You can also use tissues for toilet paper if you run out of toilet paper. So keeping paper products on hand is a really good way to go. I got 2 boxes of tissues, so we shouldn't have to restock for quite a while. Up there, I have got these 1/3 size steam table pans that are disposable. Now, these can be good for lots of things. These are like, if you are doing emergency meal kits and you have put together ingredients in an emergency, you might not want to have to wash extra dishes. So it's good to have disposable pans. Because these are smaller, just like those brownie pans, they're going to fit into smaller ovens. If you have emergency ovens that aren't going to hold a full-size pan. I actually bought these to use with my sous vide oven because they are exactly the same size as a sous vide pan. If you haven't seen me talk about my sous vide oven, I love it. It is a little appliance, countertop appliance. It's got 2 compartments. Each compartment cooks separately, and it has like 16 different ways it can cook, from bake to air fry to slow cook to steam to sous vide, like so many different ways to cook. But the coolest thing is that it's also a refrigerator. So you can put in your frozen food or your refrigerated food, you know, earlier in the day or even the night before if you're getting ready for work, and you can set it for the time you want it to be done. It will refrigerate it until it needs to cook, and then it switches to the cooking method it needs to be done at the time you set. So it's really amazing, and you can use it with their meals that you can get from them, but you can also use it with your own food that you prepare and put in. So I like to make some of my own foods and casseroles and things and freeze them to use in my sous vide oven. So these are going to be great to have extra pans that I can use for freezing those different casseroles and stuff to put in the sous vide. If you're curious and you want to see more about the sous vide, or you've been looking at them for a while and you're thinking you might want one, which I highly recommend because it's amazing, I can send you $100 off. Just text sous vide to my number down on the screen, and I will get your email from you and email you $100 off. And then finally over here, I've got some different spices. We love spices. I'm obsessed with spices and seasonings. They're super important to have in your prepper pantry because you can take some basic foods, some basic rice, meats, vegetables, pastas, and turn them into so many different meals so that you don't get sick of eating bland food or eating the same food all the time. So they're super important. So this is a little garlic butter seasoning. We love garlic butter seasoning, so this is good for lots of things. This is a Kinder's. We really like Kinder's seasoning, so I buy a lot of different flavors that I see them have. This is a prime steak with black garlic and truffle, which sounded really good. These are a couple of these Tones spices for rices. It says that they're new, so I wanted to try these out. So these, you know, rice is something that most everyone stores in their prepper pantry. These are just seasonings to spice up that rice. So you can take that plain rice and make it into different types of dishes. So here is a Mexican rice seasoning and an Asian fried rice seasoning. These are the only ones I've found. So let me know if you've ever seen any other flavors of these, because I would love to check them out. I got these, which were really interesting looking. They had a carne asada flavor, but what I was really interested in was this elote flavor, because I love this flavor and just like elote, like themed dishes, different types of casseroles, pastas, you know, dips, things like that. So I thought I would use this seasoning a lot. And then I got 3 of these really big containers of Kinder's The Blend. This is a really just multi-purpose seasoning, but it's really, really good. We love it. We use it a lot. So these are 27-ounce containers. I found this at Sam's Club. It was the best price I could get right now. And so I just broke down and said, I'm going to buy, I buy this all the time. We like it a lot. So I grabbed 3 of these. You could use this on anything. It will stay good forever. And I don't have to worry about running out either. And then I got a couple of seasonings that I'm going to be using for meals in a jar, probably. I mean, they have other uses that you could use them for. They're smoke flavor powders. I really got 2 of these just to be able to try a couple of different brands. You might recognize this brand if you watch my meal in a jar videos. This is the same brand that makes all the sausage seasonings that I like to use. This is just a smoke flavor powder. See, this says it would season 100 pounds of meat if you were adding the smoke flavor to like a sausage, because it's very strong. Like, you don't need much at all. And this is just another brand. This is a mesquite smoke powder that I was going to try. Like I said, these are very strong. You don't need a lot of these, but they can add that nice smoky flavor if I want it in a meal in a jar. You can also use these in any recipe where you would use the liquid smoke. You could use something like this. But I am just always on the lookout for different ingredients and different flavors that I can add to my meals in a jar. Remember, as you're stocking up your preps, avoid getting caught in the panic and purge cycle like so many people do. Buying in a panic leads to rash decisions. Stay calm and level-headed and prep with a plan. Practice the old prepper adage of store what you use and use what you store. Prepping looks different for every person and every family. Think about what level of preparedness makes sense for you. Do you want to have 2 weeks worth of food and supplies, or a month, 6 months, maybe even a year or 2? Balance that out with what you have room to store. With a little creativity, it's usually more than you think. Take stock of what you have and start to tackle what you don't have in a way that works for you and your budget. Even if it's only a couple of cans a week, it adds up before you know it. Then just stay the course, and in no time at all, you'll be feeling that peace of mind that comes with being as prepared as you realistically can be. Remember, it's an investment and one of the soundest investments you can make. Once you're on your way, reach back and help someone else with the motivation and the knowledge to get started. The more people around us that are prepared, the better off we all will be. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, leave me a newspaper emoji down in the comments and check out this video next for some more prepping tips. I'm Jara with Wicked Prepared. Survive today, thrive tomorrow. We'll see you next time.